What kind of grains are used in beer? Welcome to Brewing 101, brought to you by Great Fermentations. Today we're talking about the foundation of all beer, the grains. It's more than just the source of the sugar that the yeast eats to make alcohol. The grains you choose are responsible for almost everything else in your beer. The color, the texture, and a significant amount of the flavor. The grains are the soul of the beer. Let's dig in. Now you might be thinking, can't I just go harvest some grains from a field and make my beer that way? The short answer is no, because nature is tricky. Raw grains are full of starch, not simple sugar. To unlock those fermentable sugars, we need special enzymes to do the work. The problem is those enzymes do not exist unless the grain is malted first. This is why we generally refer to it as malt. Malting is a professional process. It's done by dedicated companies called maltsters. Shout out to all the maltsters out there. They essentially trick the grain into germinating by using perfectly wet conditions. That tiny bit of sprouting is what develops the key enzymes that we need. The malt is then dried and roasted to stop the germination process. That level of drying and roasting is what creates the spectrum of malts that we have available to us. Let's go ahead and walk that roasting spectrum. We'll start with our lightest malts, Pilsner or pale malts. These add minimal color, creating that classic pale yellow you're used to seeing in your traditional American lagers. They provide subtle flavors like cracker, biscuity, but they are the enzyme engines. They generally provide the vast majority of the sugars that are required for beer. Moving more into the middle, we find other malts like Munich, Vienna, various shades of crystal or caramel malts. Here's where you get your copper and your red hues, and flavors ranging from toasty and bready to rich toffee and dried fruit. These malts, because they were roasted more, contribute less of an enzyme count, but they end up adding a more noticeable full body to the beer. Finally, on the darker end of the spectrum, we have the more aggressively roasted grains. Some examples are chocolate malt and black patent. These, because of how much they've been roasted, contribute almost no enzymes because they've all been broken down by the roasting process, but they deliver intense flavors like dark chocolate, roasted bitterness, a little bit of coffee. They're so intense that you just need a small amount. Even 1 to 5% added to your grain bill can turn your beer from dark brown to black. And there are a dozen more varieties in between, all with their own characteristics and complexities. For example, the aforementioned crystal malts, they actually have their starches converted into sugar inside the grain before they're roasted, which creates the flavor of caramelized sugar. And they do this at different intensities. This creates that indelible caramelized sugar flavor. We also use specialty grains or adjuncts that aren't always malted, so these have to be used with malted grains or they won't convert. For example, rice lightens the color and gives you a more crisp, dry finish to your beer. And then you have wheat, which makes your beer more cloudy and gives you a stronger, more foamy head retention. Or oats, which are essential for creating a signature silky, creamy mouthfeel that you might want to use in a hazy IPA or a stout. As brewers, we are the chefs. We approach the grain bill with a vision: the color, the texture, the body, and the final alcohol content. The grains we choose create the backbone of that vision. If we want a light, crispy lager, we'll mainly just use a pale malt or a Pilsner malt, maybe add a little bit of rice to dry it out more. Where if we want a dark, complex stout, we'll probably use about 80% pale malt, and then throw in those caramel malts, those chocolate malts, those black patent malts that he talked about before, maybe even a little bit of oat to make it more creamy. It's a true balance of art and science, and thankfully, there's some great brewing software out there that does all the complicated calculations to take that science part out a little bit, and we can just enjoy the art of it. Well, that's our deep dive into the world of grains. I hope you learned something today about the foundation of your favorite pint. And I plan to make other videos breaking down other components of beer, including the hops, the yeast, the water, mash, etc. So hit that follow button and stay tuned for more Brewing 101. And remember guys, you can order all these ingredients and equipment to get yourself started if you want to make your own beer at Great Fermentations. Go to www.greatfermentations.com and get yourself started today. Thanks for watching.